Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Ready or Not 1.0. So this game is out of early access, thanks to Void Interactive for providing a code of the game. So I already tested this on Steam Deck and PC back when it was on early access. Now we got the 1.0 version, so it's marked as playable. But there is still some issues with it for Steam Deck players. So first of all, there's no gamepad support, not officially. So my advice is to go to the templates and select community layouts. And here you have many. I used this one so far, so you apply the layout and you should be good to go. It's mapping keyboard and mouse keys to your controller in order to be able to control the game with gamepad. Otherwise, the game won't work with it. Then another thing that is super important, it asks you to do DX11 or 12. For 30 FPS, I recommend DX11. It's more CPU intensive, but it's less intensive on the GPU, and the stutters are less prevalent. So there's still stutter on DX11, but way less than on DX12, and they are less strong. They're way faster. And yeah, so first I'll show you 30 FPS with DX11, higher settings. Then if you use DX12, it's for targeting 40 FPS, so less of a hit to the CPU, but on the GPU uses more VRAM and more GPU usage as well. So I'll show you both things. So let's get into the game, shall we? Alright guys, welcome to Ready or Not. I'm in the options menu, and if you put it on full screen, it's basically 1280 by 800, resolution scale 100%. And on the advanced graphics, medium textures, in some cases you might want to drop it to low, especially if you're not using the 4 gigs of VRAM thing on the BIOS. Medium shadows for performance reasons. High post-process, epic anti-aliasing, high VFX to have some screen space reflections. Motion blur at 15%, so a very slight blur. World decals at 60%. Opti1 FPS at 24. And the resolution scale at 50. That means that when you're looking under the door, the camera that you're using there is half resolution at 24 FPS, just because it destroys the performance otherwise. And now in this version we have FSR2 instead of FSR1, which is a huge improvement. So quality FSR2, DX11, and we're targeting 30. In this case, if you're locking it, I recommend using the in-game option instead of this one. So let's get into it. Again, I'm using mouse and keyboard right now.
And are refusing to cooperate. Move in.
And this is the 5th level in the game, and it's very demanding. And the game drops frames, especially when you're using the flashlight. But as you can see here, it's using almost the entire GPU. And there's some stutter here and there, but we seem to be good. Hopefully there's nobody here or an explosive through the door. Also on medium shadows you get this horrible shadow thing. You can actually crank it up to high. You'll get closer to 30 instead of, what's the name of this? As you can see, way better. You'll be closer to the low 30s, especially in this level, upper 20s. But this is basically the only level where that happened to me. It's a big issue because also your flashlight casts shadows, or your teammates do the same thing. So if you turn it off, it's fine. So if you want consistent frame rates across the board, make sure that you put shadows on medium. But again, we're talking about this particular level. Okay, we peek. No explosive. Good.
Dynamic movement. Move and clear.
So I'll ask my teammates to clear it for me. I'm kidding. I'm clearing it with them.
Move in and clear it.
Okay, they got stuck, I think. The AI is good sometimes.
We have a suspect down. Looks clear over here, boss.
Talk to entry team. Roger that.
So yeah, my advice here is to lock it to 30 to avoid those spikes in the frame time.
Roger, entry team. Notifying medical.
Oh, explosive.
Disabling now.
Again, I'm playing the demanding level. The other ones are like 10 frames ahead.
Fall in.
Right with you.
Another trap. Yes, it is. So, I mean, you can play it, but my advice is to lock it to 30 and DX11. Okay. There's definitely a guy through the door. Okay.
Cover the area.
Moving up.
Yeah, but I'm convinced that shadows should be on medium. Despite looking super grainy, we're playing on a Steam Deck. I mean, come on. There we go.
Gold team.
Okay, breach it with a shotgun and flashbang.
Door,
Game.
use flashlight.
Swap with me.
Here we go. Oh man, that frame rate. Oof. Let's say I forgot that there was a flashbang going in. Man, I'm the worst operator ever.
Evidence secured.
So yeah, as you can see, there's still drops.
Got it back.
Especially in certain doors, like here. If I turn on the flashlight. But again, it's this level in particular. That's why I chose this level to begin with. Thank you guys for telling me in the live stream. Okay, no explosive.
Enter and clear.
I'm good to go.
Alright. So that's the 30 FPS configuration. There is a 40 FPS configuration, but it's not exactly stable,
Looks clear over here, boss.
like at all. So my advice is to stick to this one. But I'm going to try 40 FPS in handheld mode anyway. So, when handheld mode, I mean showing you the screen. So, one sec. Alright guys, welcome back, now in handheld. So, first order of business is to change the controls. So, go to controller settings, use the one that I told you, which is called Steam Deck Full Support. This one works well, but there's a button that is missing. And that button is the Y key on the keyboard. So go to the back buttons and map the Y key. Why do you need the Y key? Well, that's a good question. That's because to accept the mission and get into it, you need to press that button. That's basically the reason. Just to ready up. So again, same settings on the resolution side. And with this thing, you can use the right stick as a mouse. So I'm using low textures because the X12 uses more VRAM. So the X12 for this one, so we're not CPU bound. Medium settings, Epic Anti-Aliasing because it's CAA. Motion blur at 15%. And then, let me see if I can hit this. Oh god, it's so uncomfortable. Well, you can also use your finger in the menu. FSR quality, Opti1 at 24 FPS with 50% resolution. And decals at 60% raw distance. So you can close it and continue. And as you'll see, let me show you unlocked for a second. In this level at least, you're not hitting 40s. Because this level is the most demanding. At least it seems to be. So let's lock it to 40, not 30, 40. There we go. And I'll show you this level, which is the exception, and the rest of the levels. And I don't remember how to play this with a controller, again. Also, it would be nice to be able to scale up the UI. So yeah, it's not unplayable, but definitely it would be nice. Okay. Let me see if I can pick. Oh, there's a bomb. Left mouse button. Okay. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it. I don't know how to order my patrol around, unfortunately. So I gotta do it myself. Okay, I can lean. Oh god. This is bad. I don't know how to shout even. I need to scream police! Yeah. Well, I don't know what the key is, unfortunately. Oh god. Are we good? See this part, if you use a flashlight, in some parts where you're traversing through a door to another area, you can drop like this. Especially with a flashlight on. Again, it casts shadows, even on your teammates. Your teammates' flashlights cast shadows as well. So once you turn them off, it's closer to 40. So let me show you another level, because this one is the one that, at least for me, ran the worst. So, one sec. Right, so while the map is loading, you'll see that you'll have like a complete freeze when you're on DX12. That's because it's compiling the shaders for the map. This map, I never visited it on DX12. So that's one thing, don't be afraid, just wait like a minute and it'll load into the level. That's the thing with DX12. With DX11 it's way quicker, so keep that in mind. But for 40 FPS, to not be CPU bottlenecked, we need DX12. More VRAM, whatever. Some extra stutter, more aggressive stutter, but your CPU does less work. That's why it's possible to get kinda 40. But I'll probably play this at 30 personally. I don't know, it just feels more consistent when you lock it to 30. There we go. So once the mission loads, I'll be right back, because you gotta wait like 10 seconds for your squad to deploy for some reason. So, one sec. Alright guys, welcome once again to Ready or Not. This is Twisted Nerve. I played this level on the previous video actually for the Steam Deck. This was the level where I had the most trouble with the performance. So when you're looking at the level from the outside, is when it drops. Once you get it into the house, is way better. But again, what's my issue with this? DX12 stutters more on the first run than DX11. That's why you see those random stutters every once in a while. But with the 40 FPS lock, feels way smoother than at 30, definitely. Okay, entry team, stack up. Now I'll open the door. Let's kick it in.
Down on the ground. Move. Hands on your head. Now.
Anybody here?
Get down on your knees.
So what would be my advice? Personally, again, in this case, probably DX11 with the 30 FPS cap. I know it's a first-person shooter, 40 FPS is way better, but I think it's a better experience in general. You don't have as much stutter. The stutter is lessened significantly.
Hands on your head. Move.
Okay, nobody here. And even if I lower the settings further, this still happens.
Hands up.
Down to the ground!
Get down. I want to see hands.
But I mean, the game works. The only thing that one of the things it needs, first of all, is proper gamepad support instead of using the community layout. It works well with the community layout, but there's no prompts, so it can get confusing.
Down on your knees. Get down. Don't touch. Down on the ground. Now.
So yeah, keep that in mind. That's one of the things. Proper gamepad support would be perfect. Then the other thing would be that the UI... Let us increase the size of the UI. The UI is too small. And well, proper shader compilation before the game runs. That's my advice for the developers. And it should be way better. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend the 40 FPS thing, especially because when you turn on the flashlight, every teammate does it and it casts shadows and, well, it's problematic. So lock it to 30 by going into the pause menu, options. Also make sure it's at 60 Hz, the screen. There we go. And in here, where it says FPS limit, enable it and put it at 30. And use the settings I showed you before with DX11. Actually, this is DX12, so yeah.
Another door up ahead.
And for some reason my 30 FPS cap wasn't engaged. That's okay, whatever. But that's basically advice. The 30 FPS configuration with a 30 FPS cap using the in-game FPS limiter, and you should be good to go. So yeah, please allow us to make the UI bigger. Please, proper gamepad support. And that will be perfect on the Steam Deck. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys.